Welcome back to the channel World Coins Master everyone, and thank you for joining us today as we explore the incredible story of a United States 1-cent coin from 1976, a simple Lincoln penny that under certain circumstances and with the right combination of rare features, errors, and anomalies, can be worth an astonishing $540 million. A value so wildly different from its humble 1-cent face value that it almost sounds unbelievable. Yet, coin collecting history is filled with examples of small pieces of change that turned into treasures because of rare minting mistakes, unique variations, and extreme scarcity. The 1976 1-cent Lincoln penny has become a subject of fascination among collectors and historians, and in this deep dive, we will unpack why this coin can command such extraordinary value and what makes it one of the most intriguing coins in the world of numismatics. The 1976 penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, first introduced in 1959 to replace the wheat reverse design that had been used since 1909. By 1976, America was celebrating its bicentennial, marking 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. While quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins were issued with special bicentennial designs featuring dual dates, 1776 to 1976, the 1-cent coin retained its usual design featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. However, despite not receiving a commemorative design, the 1976 penny has become one of the most discussed pieces among coin collectors because of the rare anomalies that exist within this year's production. To understand why a coin with a face value of just 1 cent could possibly be worth $540 million, we need to look at the fascinating world of minting errors and how even the smallest variation can change the fate of a coin. When coins are produced, the US Mint uses massive machines to strike millions of coins daily. Any deviation in the die, the blank planchette, the striking pressure, or even the alignment can create an unusual coin. Most of the time, these errors are caught and destroyed, but on occasion, they slip through and make their way into circulation. Over time, these coins become incredibly sought after by collectors. The 1976 penny is no exception, and in fact, it is the combination of timing, minting circumstances, and rare mistakes that have propelled certain examples into legendary status. One of the most discussed possibilities is the double die error. This happens when a die, which impresses the design onto a coin, receives a doubled image during preparation. If a coin is struck with such a die, it may show clear doubling on the date, lettering, or even Lincoln's features. For the 1976 penny, double dies are known to exist, with variations showing doubling on the motto "In God We Trust," the word liberty, and the date itself. Collectors prize these double die errors because the doubling is not a result of post-mint damage but rather part of the original striking process, making them genuine mint anomalies. Another key error that can make a 1976 penny incredibly valuable is an off-center strike. This occurs when the planchette, or blank metal disc, is not properly aligned in the coin press. The result is a coin where the design is shifted, sometimes dramatically, leaving part of the coin blank. While small off-center errors are interesting, coins with more dramatic shifts of 50% or more are the ones that command higher values. If such a dramatic off-center strike also includes a full, visible date, its value can skyrocket. Imagine a 1976 penny struck off-center with visible errors. This combination alone makes collectors eager to pay top prices. Perhaps even more fascinating are transitional errors. Transitional errors occur when a coin is struck using the wrong metal composition. For example, in 1976, the Lincoln cent was supposed to be struck in a bronze composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. However, as the mint experimented with different compositions during the 1970s and early 1980s, mistakes occasionally occurred. A coin could accidentally be struck on a leftover planchette from another denomination or another year. Some rare 1976 pennies have been reported struck on dime planchets or other experimental metals. These unusual strikes are extremely rare and highly valued by collectors because they represent an anomaly that should never have left the mint. Mint marks also play a critical role in coin value. In 1976, pennies were struck at several mints, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The presence or absence of a mint mark, as well as anomalies involving mint marks, can drastically affect a coin's value. A missing mint mark, a repunched mint mark, where the letter was struck twice into the die, or a filled mint mark error can create unique variations. Collectors are always searching for these subtleties, and when combined with other errors like doubling or off-center strikes, they can make the coin extraordinarily rare. Now, how does one get from a valuable error coin to the staggering figure of $540 million? The answer lies in the combination of rarity, demand, and mythos surrounding certain coins. While individual error pennies from 1976 might realistically sell for thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars depending on the error type and condition, the legend of the 1976 penny reaching such astronomical value is fueled by the possibility of a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, an example that combines multiple rare errors. Perhaps a double die struck on a transitional planchet with a dramatic off-center strike and a mint mark anomaly, all preserved in uncirculated condition. The theoretical value of such a unique piece could drive bidding wars among wealthy collectors and investors, pushing its value to hundreds of millions. Collectors also tie the 1976 penny to the broader context of American history. The bicentennial year was a time of national pride and commemoration. Even though the penny did not feature the special dual date like the quarter, half dollar, and dollar coins, its association with this historic year makes it significant. Owning a rare error penny from America's 200th birthday year becomes more than just owning a coin. It is owning a piece of history that connects the numismatic world with the story of the nation. Another aspect to consider is the condition of the coin. Numismatists use the Sheldon grading scale to evaluate a coin's condition, ranging from poor, P1, to perfect mint state, MS70. A 1976 penny in circulated condition might only fetch a few cents or dollars unless it has a major error. However, a flawless, uncirculated error penny can reach extraordinary values. Imagine a unique 1976 error penny graded at MS67 or higher. Such a coin, with its rarity and historical importance, could create headlines in the numismatic community. Stories of record-breaking coin sales add fuel to the fire. For example, rare coins such as the 1933 St. Gordon's Double Eagle or the 1794 Flowing Hair Silver Dollar have sold for millions of dollars. These sales show that when rarity, demand, and history combine, prices can soar beyond what anyone might expect. The legend of the 1976 penny worth $540 million grows from this same tradition, where collectors and investors dream of discovering the ultimate rarity. Another important point is how small details can dramatically affect value. A tiny die crack, a lamination error where part of the metal flakes off, or a clipped planchet where a portion of the coin is missing can all add uniqueness to a 1976 penny. Each of these errors tells the story of the minting process and how an everyday object became something extraordinary. Collectors cherish these stories, and the more unique the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. The psychological aspect of collecting also plays a role. Coins are not just metal, they are history, art, and symbols of a nation. Collectors are driven by passion, nostalgia, and the thrill of the hunt. The 1976 penny, with its potential errors and historical significance, becomes a target for those who want to own something that no one else has. The possibility that a penny in your pocket could be worth millions adds to the excitement. Now let's imagine the specific errors that could make a 1976 penny reach such astronomical value. Picture a penny struck on a silver dime planchet by mistake, with a dramatic off-center strike that still clearly shows the date 1976. Add to this a double die obverse where liberty and in God we trust are boldly doubled. Finally, imagine the Denver mint mark was struck twice, creating a repunched mint mark error. Combine all these errors into a single flawless coin graded at the highest mint state levels, and you have a one-of-a-kind rarity. In a world where wealthy collectors are willing to pay record-breaking prices, such a coin could theoretically reach values in the hundreds of millions. This is why stories about a 1976 penny worth $540 million continue to fascinate people. It may seem like a fantasy, but it is rooted in the real dynamics of rarity, demand, and the human desire to own something unique. For most people, the pennies in their pockets are worth 1 cent, but for the lucky few who discover an extraordinary error, that penny can change their lives forever. As we continue this exploration, let's go deeper into the different kinds of errors reported for the 1976 penny. Some collectors have documented die cracks running across Lincoln's head or the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. These die cracks happen when a minting die begins to break down, leaving raised lines on the coin. Others have found examples with Today we are diving deep into one of the most mysterious and captivating coins in United States history, the 1984 Lincoln 1-cent Liberty Penny, a coin that has astonished collectors and experts with stories of it being worth nearly $490 million under the right circumstances. It may sound incredible that a simple penny, something that most of us walk past on the sidewalk or keep buried at the bottom of a drawer, could hold the potential to change someone's life forever, but the reality is that minting errors, mistakes, and variations in mint marks can turn common coins into priceless treasures. The 1984 Lincoln cent has captured the attention of the numismatic world precisely because of these unusual errors and anomalies, making it one of the most sought-after coins for collectors and treasure hunters alike. To understand the significance of the 1984 Liberty Penny, we need to begin with the basics. The coin is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the penny became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person rather than a symbolic figure. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent has gone through a number of design and metal composition changes, but by 1984 it retained the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln's bust on the obverse, with the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. At first glance, a 1984 penny may look no different from the millions of others struck that year, but hidden within some of these coins are small details that make the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one valued in the millions. The year 1984 was a particularly important one for Lincoln cents because of several well-documented errors that surfaced in circulation. Among the most famous of these is the double die obverse variety, where Lincoln's ear appears double due to a die misalignment during production. This double-die penny has been one of the most celebrated finds in modern U.S. coin collecting. While not every 1984 cent carries this error, those that do are already highly prized and can sell for thousands of dollars depending on condition. But the story doesn't end there. Collectors have reported additional errors, ranging from off-center strikes, die cracks, and missing letters, to rare mint mark anomalies that make some examples even more unique. Each of these variations contributes to the lore of the 1984 penny, and together they create the foundation for the astonishing values associated with this coin. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that was mass-produced in the billions, yet somehow, because of a minor flaw in the minting process, it becomes one of only a handful in existence with that particular error. Scarcity and uniqueness drive value in the coin collecting world, and when rarity is combined with historical significance and collector demand, prices can skyrocket. The 1984 penny fits perfectly into this equation. The double-die penny, for example, has become a legendary variety, with dedicated collectors hunting for it in rolls of pennies from banks, coin shows, and personal stashes. Stories of people discovering these coins in ordinary pocket change continue to fuel the excitement, adding a layer of possibility that keeps the 1984 penny at the center of attention. The claim that certain examples of the 1984 Liberty 1-cent penny could be worth as much as $490 million may sound extreme, but when we look at the market for rare coins, it's not entirely without precedent. History shows us that collectors are willing to pay staggering amounts for unique coins that represent the pinnacle of rarity. Consider the 1933 Double Eagle gold coin, which has sold for tens of millions of dollars because of its rarity and legal history, or the 1794 flowing hair dollar, believed to be the first silver dollar ever struck, which fetched over $10 million at auction. These record-breaking sales demonstrate the potential of unique coins to achieve astronomical prices. If a 1984 penny with an extraordinary and unique error were to be authenticated and verified as one of a kind, the bidding wars among collectors, museums, and investors could indeed drive its value to levels that most people can hardly imagine. Mint errors have always fascinated collectors because they provide a glimpse into the fallibility of the minting process. The U.S. Mint produces billions of coins each year, and with such massive production, mistakes are inevitable. In most cases, errors are caught early and destroyed, but some slip through the cracks and find their way into circulation. When they do, they can become treasures for the sharp-eyed individuals who recognize their significance. In the case of the 1984 penny, errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, and variations in mint marks have elevated what would otherwise be an ordinary coin into something remarkable. For example, a 1984 penny struck at the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark but displaying a dramatic doubling error can be seen as a numismatic marvel, one that instantly commands attention and value. Another important factor in the story of the 1984 penny is condition. Collectors place immense importance on the grade of a coin, which refers to its state of preservation. A coin that has been heavily circulated, with scratches and wear, may still be valuable if it carries a rare error, but an uncirculated example in pristine condition can multiply that value many times over. Professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC have certified many 1984 double-deer pennies, and those graded at higher levels often fetch significant sums at auction. The possibility that a flawless example exists with multiple overlapping errors adds to the speculation and excitement surrounding the coin. Beyond the physical coin itself, there is also a psychological allure to the idea that something so small and seemingly insignificant could harbor such immense value. This sense of hidden treasure has always been part of the coin collecting experience, and it's what drives people to search through jars of pennies, bank rolls, and old collections inherited from relatives. Every time someone picks up a 1984 penny, there is a moment of possibility, a spark of wonder about whether it could be one of the rare and extraordinary examples worth a fortune. This blend of accessibility and rarity is part of what makes the 1984 penny so compelling. The connection between mint mark anomalies and value cannot be overlooked. In 1984, pennies were struck at multiple facilities, including Philadelphia and Denver. Philadelphia coins traditionally lacked a mint mark at that time, while Denver coins carried the deed mint mark. Any irregularities in the mint mark, such as doubling, repunching, or misplacement, can dramatically increase collector interest. There are stories of coins displaying partial mint marks, overlapping impressions, or faint doubling that create entirely new varieties for collectors to chase. In a market where uniqueness drives competition, even the smallest variation can mean the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and one worth thousands or millions. Adding to the intrigue of the 1984 penny is the historical context. The early 1980s were a period of significant transition for U.S. coinage. In 1982, the composition of the penny changed from mostly copper to a copper-plated zinc planchet. This change created its own set of errors, as some 1982 pennies were struck on leftover copper planchets. By 1984, the transition was complete, but the mint was still working through technical adjustments, which may have contributed to the higher incidence of errors. Coins from this era often reflect the challenges of balancing mass production with precision, and the 1984 penny stands out as a prime example of how those challenges created rare treasures for collectors. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1984 Liberty penny story is the way it captures the imagination of people beyond the numismatic community. The idea that a penny could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars appeals to our collective love of hidden treasure and unexpected fortune. It speaks to the possibility that ordinary people, with no special training or resources, could stumble upon life-changing wealth simply by paying attention to the details of everyday objects. This universal appeal helps explain why the 1984 penny continues to be a topic of fascination, discussion, and speculation decades after it was minted. Of course, not every 1984 penny is valuable. The vast majority are ordinary coins that circulate with little fanfare. But within that massive population lies the possibility of extraordinary finds. Collectors know that it only takes one discovery to make years of searching worthwhile. The thrill of the hunt is part of the hobby, and the 1984 penny provides a perfect target for that energy. Whether it's searching bank rolls, attending coin shows, or scouring online auctions, the chase for rare 1984 pennies continues to inspire collectors around the world. The market dynamics for rare coins also play a significant role in shaping the value of the 1984 penny. As with any collectible, value is determined by supply and demand. The supply of rare 1984 era pennies is inherently limited, and as more collectors become aware of them, demand increases. This creates a feedback loop where prices rise, attracting even more attention and fueling further demand. Stories of record-breaking sales add to the momentum, creating a sense of urgency among collectors to acquire these coins before prices climb even higher. When we talk about a potential value of $490 million, we are speaking about the hypothetical extreme of this process, where rarity, condition,